Hello everyone and welcome to my review of Now You're One of Us by Asa Nonami. Now You're One of Us was published originally in 1993 in Japan under its original title Anki. These kanji are so strange and I was not able to find a proper translation of them in English. Someone on Goodreads said that they translate as remembrance, which I can kind of see after I read the book. And then the basic kanji translator translates them as dark ghost, but I don't really think that's the proper translation. If you guys speak Japanese and can read these kanjis, please let me know down below how the original title translates into English, because I'm really curious. The book was translated into English by Michael and Mitsuko Volek in 2007 and it was published by Vertical Publishing House. This is kind of a mystery thriller, even though sometimes I've seen it categorized as horror, and it is completely underrated on Goodreads. I think it only has 300 ratings. Plot-wise, this book follows Noriko, who is a 26-year-old young woman who's grown up in the countryside in Japan. She is proposed an arranged marriage by a matchmaker between her and Kazuhito, who is a man living in Tokyo with his family. He lives with his parents, grandparents, siblings, and a great-grandmother. At first, Noriko is very apprehensive to take this proposal, and her mother backs her up on that apprehension because she would be expected to do a lot of work caring for the extended family. But upon meeting him and meeting his family, she falls instantly in love with him, and she thinks that his family is the most welcoming family. They're always smiling and they treat her very nicely, so she changes her mind and decides to marry him and go live in Tokyo. Even though they live in Tokyo, they live in this little corner of Tokyo, like a suburbia, where they have a house with a garden, so she feels kind of just like living in the countryside. She feels very welcome even after the marriage and upon moving in the house, but after living there for a while, she starts suspecting that there might be something off with this family, and that the fact that they're always smiling and always happy is suspicious, and she starts having a lot of doubts, and she starts thinking that they're plotting against her, but she doesn't know how right she is or if she's just becoming suspicious or homesick. And the whole book is basically just following Noriko, trying to see if there is really something off or she's just having suspicions out of nowhere. The book definitely does that very well, in the sense that it instills this sense of dread. It's not a book that scares you or terrifies you in what is going on in it, but since the book follows Noriko, you only kind of know what she knows, and you're presented her suspicions through her eyes, so you don't really know if there's really anything more to her suspicions or not. And when I talked about this book in my haul, I mentioned how this cover is absolutely irking. And even though after reading it, this particular scene doesn't really resonate in the book, this kind of irking feeling and like sense of disgust is what you get while reading this and going deeper and deeper into Noriko's new family. I was really engaged in this book, more so in the first half than in the second half. The second half of the book was a little bit of a letdown because I was expecting it to become a little more intense and surprising. What I found really interesting about the book is that I think it gives an interesting perspective on Japanese views of marriage, probably more applicable in the 90s since this book was written in 93. Seeing how Japanese people view marriage and seeing the extent to which a young woman could try to go to be able to fit in her new family is very interesting. A lot of the times I was really annoyed at Noriko's decisions, and I thought that it would have been so much easier for her to react differently. But of course there's cultural norms and different cultural differences that I didn't really think of, but once I started looking at it through that kind of perspective, I found myself accepting her decisions more. So I found it was very interesting the way that this book presents marriage and compromising yourself so that you are part of a big family, and I thought that was very interesting. So overall, I did have a pleasant experience reading this novel. I wouldn't really put it in my favorite Japanese novels, but it's definitely an interesting mystery, and I'm very curious to read more by Asa Nonami. Luckily, there are 2 more books by her translated into English. Another one is translated at Vertical as well, and it is Body. And then there's another one called The Hunter, which is translated at Kodansha International, I think, and both of them are on Amazon, thankfully. So I'm probably going to be purchasing at least one of those in my next batch of Japanese books. Until then, I do recommend this book to Japanese mystery fans, and if you've read this book, let me know down below and we can discuss it. I will see you back with a new video soon. Thank you so much for watching and have a great day. Bye.